You know, I always thought, be careful what you wish for. I've had 2 or 3 friends in my life that had very successful dads, and they inherited their dad's business. Now, that sounds great. Hey, I'm inheriting dad's business. And you're going to make a lot more money in those first 3 or 4 years out of college than the rest of us would. But you do get that you'll never be able to pursue your dreams. And it's not your dad's life. It's your life. Do you really, at 23, want to be the heir apparent to your dad? I know, you can drive a Mercedes. Dad'll even pay for it. But the coolest part of my life has been, I've got to shape my life. It's exactly what I wanted to do when I was 8 years old. What if my dad was a really successful landscaping company, made millions of dollars? I'd be in landscaping, right? You see that all the time in America. Guys are 35, 40 years old. They got the money, Mercedes. They're not doing what they want to do. Be very careful about saying you want to be the number 1 quarterback, Mitch Trubisky. Because I'm here to tell you the number 1 draft pick as a quarterback is overrated. Here's the last 10 head coaches who had the number 1 pick in this draft. Jeff Fisher, fired. Lovie Smith, fired. Chuck Pagano, hot seat. Bill O'Brien, hot seat. Tony Sperano, fired. Lane Kiffin, fired. Jim Schwartz, fired. Steve Spagnuolo, fired. Mike Nolan, fired. Of all the coaches, last 10, 12 number 1 picks, the number 1 pick, only Andy Reid is a coach you'd be like, yeah, got my guy. I'm a quarterback. You do realize when you go number 1, you're getting on average a coach who's going to be fired. Translation, chaos. This year's coach is Hugh Jackson off a 1-15 season. After him is rookie head coach Kyle Shanahan, John Fox already been fired twice, probably a 3rd time, Doug Marrone, and Mike Mularkey. Here's the last 7 coaches picking in tonight's first round. Bill Belichick traded out to Sean Payton, Mike Tomlin, Dan Quinn, Pete Carroll, Andy Reid, Jason Garrett, and Mike McCarthy. I think I'd rather go to those coaches and be in the bottom of the first round if I was a quarterback. Be careful what you wish for. The number 1 pick, if you're a quarterback, you're going to make $30 million. That is the value of the contract. Not to get mathy, but after taxes and agent, it's $15 million. You're 22 years old. It's nice. You'll get a nice home. Cars for the fam. You got 68 more years to live, bro. It ain't that life-changing. Okay? So you get a $30 million, not 1 year, a contract. You do get the average top quarterback. That's what they now make in a year, close to it. 23, 24, 25 million a year. And you know what those guys have? What does Russell Wilson have? Elite coach. Tom Brady, elite coach. Aaron Rodgers, elite coach. Drew Brees, elite coach. I'd rather go to a better head coach and a better culture, especially at quarterback. I'd prefer not going number 1. Find me the last quarterback to go number 1, stay with the same team, and have success for 15 years. Peyton Manning. That's it. Because here's why. When you're a quarterback, because you're so high profile, when you do go to the first team and fail, it is really hard to reboot that career. Steve Young did it, and Drew Brees did it, and sort of Rich Gannon did it. But if the first go-around doesn't work and the world's watching, people give up on you. They don't give up on a right tackle. They don't give up on a Mike linebacker. They don't give up on a safety because they're not paying attention. But the world largely gives up on you if you're the quarterback and you don't get it right the first team. Once it goes bad, hard to reboot. And it mostly goes bad if you got a bad coach and a losing football culture. This draft doesn't have a Super Bowl winning coach until the 11th pick. Hugh Jackson's got the first pick. Handshake deal, me and you, pizza to the winner, milkshake. He's around in 5 years. I'm going to go with no. Think about this. Andrew Luck, as good as he is, as good as Andrew Luck is, as the number one pick, he's on his third offensive coordinator, his second general manager, his fourth spleen, and his head coach is on the hot seat. And because of talk radio's growth and sports growth and just the volume and of media in America and the pressure, the average quarterback career since 2008 has gone from 6 years to 3. So now you get even less time to show everybody you're good. I mean, if Jared Goff is bad again this year, it's over. It's over. They're moving on. They may not publicize it, but in the building, they're moving on. Because when you're a number one quarterback, as we stated, you're getting a coach who's below average. You're getting a flawed roster. You're getting a losing culture, and you get $30 million. You can make $26 million if you go 27 to a good coach a year by your second contract. And the other thing in the NFL, it is very hard to be bad if you have a good offensive line. It really is. If you have a good offensive line in this day and age, there are not many of them, you're going to win a lot of games. The top offensive line in football last year was Dallas. They went 13-3. Oakland was rated as having the second best, 12-4. Green Bay, pass blocking, second best, 10-6. Pittsburgh, elite offensive line, 11-5. Even Tennessee, and you don't love their culture or their coach, 8-8. So you're going to, if you go to a top 4 or 5 team, overwhelmingly go to a coach that's going to get fired, a losing culture, and a bad O-line. If I was Mitch Trubisky, I'd rather, instead of $30 million, I'd rather take $18 million, go to a better coach, a better culture, a better O-line every day of the week. The last number one pick to have sustained success, one team, 15 years, one place, is Peyton Manning. So you have to be that good to really work. I mean, to really be Hall of Fame level. Nah. Aaron Rodgers didn't go on. Brady didn't go on. Montana didn't go on. Drew Brees didn't go on. Big Ben didn't go on. Look around the league right now. Matt Ryan didn't go number one. You can have number one. Cam did, 6 years in, still questions. Be careful what you root for. I know you want to inherit. You always look at that guy, man. That guy you went to college with, his dad had a successful business and he inherits that business. He's driving a Mercedes by 23 years old. He's got a nice house in the burbs. It's worth $1 million. But he never, ever, ever gets to chase his dreams. You do. In the time, it doesn't feel great. But trust me, if you're passionate, you have a dream, that's the life you want. Not inheriting dad's business. You want to make your own life for you. And you think number one pick for a quarterback's great. Look around the league, man. And the pressure today is so great that the average quarterback now gone from 6 years to 3 since 2008. If Jared Goff has a bad year, he's done there. They will, inside the building, they're off him. And he's had nothing to work with. Bad O-line, some say the worst in football, no receivers, a defensive head coach. If he doesn't win this year, everybody emotionally is off Jared Goff. I mean, that's what it's like to be the guy.